Good morning, family of fast. Matt Mosman, the Chief Endurance Officer over at EndurElite, coming at you with another episode of Busting the Bull. Today's topic is strength training in children. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of bust some of the common myths people have about children and strength training or lifting weights. We're going to describe, what the benefits are, and then also describe what kind of program children should follow and when the right time might be for children to start lifting weights if they want to. But before we get to that, from time to time, I like to call out special companies that are doing really awesome things. And today's company is Run So Far Gear, representing with this nice t-shirt. So they make an awesome line of clothing for men and women and super comfy like tri-blend t-shirts. And then they also donate 10% of their sales back to the Children's Hospital at Dartmouth Hitchcock. So really cool company. Check them out for some super comfy t-shirts and other apparel. So let's just get right to it. So over the last decade or so, 20 years to be specifically, rates of childhood obesity have really risen, and this has led to multiple risk factors for basically ill health later down in their life. So you have this rise of electronic media, kids sitting on their ass all day long. So what are you gonna do? You get your kids involved in exercise. So you can have them run, play outside, do aerobic exercise. But this video is really gonna focus on strength training in children. So with this, you can kind of consider a child anywhere between the ages of 6 and 13 who hasn't really developed any secondary sex characteristics. Now, you can't train a child the same way you can train an adult. There's lots of differences in terms of like muscle mass and breathing frequency and stuff like that. So if your kid wants to strength train, how do you decide what kind of strength training to do with them? And we'll get to that in a minute. But one of the most bullshit reasons people will say why a kid shouldn't strength train is damage to the growth cartilage at the epiphyseal plate. Now, multiple studies have confirmed that this theory is basically unfounded as long as the exercise is properly instructed and children are using, good form. It's not like, you're going to take a kid and throw him on a squat and load 700 pounds on there and just watch him crumble to the floor. No, we're not talking about that. So no truth at all to, that whole myth. Also, your kid's not going to get big and bulky like this kid right here if they start lifting weights. And there's going to be no muscle damage, no tendon damage, anything like that if your kid starts to strength train, with a few caveats. One being that your children are being supervised while they strength train. They're old enough to understand direction and follow direction. And in general, if your child participates in organized sports, they are ready to strength train if they want to and they get excited about it. If they're not excited about it, probably no way. So, with all these myths out there that saying, strength training is bad, there's actually a ton of good benefits to strength training. Children who strength train, they can exhibit lower rates of injury during different sports. What else? This is interesting, most of the adaptations that occur with children's strength training, you're not going to see a kid like bulk up and, hypertrophy is what you call it, or gain muscle mass. Most of the adaptations that occur in children are all neural or strength related. Like, it's not uncommon for a kid to start strength training and they'll have a 30% increase in strength in no time at all. Also, children who strength train can improve cardiac risk profile, feelings of well-being, bone strength, and skill in sports performance. Furthermore, what's really important, if you get your kids started early, it kind of develops a lifelong habit of, healthy exercise and getting out and taking care of your body. So those are kind of some of the benefits. These benefits are even more pronounced in like obese children. There's a lot of studies out there that, what do we have here? One study looked at 48 obese children, participated in a 3-day week. total body undulating periodized resistance training program, which basically means they switched up the reps and the weights throughout this program. At the end of the 8-week study, the investigator noticed a 2.6% decrease in body fat, a 5.3% increase in lean body mass, a 74% increase in 1 repetition max squat, which that is huge, 85% increase in the number of push-ups performed, and an 8% improvement in jump height, and a 61% increase in power. So pretty significant findings. And then if you want to make your kid a total badass in sports, get them strength training. So basically, I mean, improves body composition, power, strength, lean body mass, all these other things. Now, the real question is, if you're developing a strength training program for a kid, what do you kind of want them to follow? Well, first and foremost, again, you want to make sure 100% that they are properly supervised. So they're doing the movements correctly. They're progressing little by little so they don't get hurt. They're exhibiting proper form, things like that. So here's what you want to do if you want to get your kids involved in strength training. Basically, get them with a trainer, or if you feel comfortable doing it or you have the experience doing it, you can do it. You want to do basically a 5 to 10 minute warm up with some dynamic stretching, so like high knees, butt kicks, more dynamic movements. You kind of want to first also determine proper weights and loads by experiment. So maybe having your kid doing 10 to 15 reps on a bench press at a lower weight and seeing how many reps they can perform. And then depending on basically their training age and experience, and this is from a study, 1 to 3 sets of 6 to 15 repetitions at 50 to 85% of 1 repetition max should be performed on a variety of upper and lower body exercises. So this is just to basically encourage muscle balance and symmetry, so you're not like one of those guys who lifts upper body only and you look like a toothpick down below. So just good all around total body exercises, compound exercises, upper and lower in body. Now in the beginning, the kid will probably train anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, non-consecutive days, and then with selecting weights, you want to gradually increase by 5 to 10% week over week, or according to the periodized schedule. And then when they're kind of finished up with their strength training, they want to do a light cool down, and then static stretching is fine from there. So the whole point of this video is all these myths you heard about strength training in children are pretty much unfounded, unless you're being stupid about it, like the kid isn't getting proper supervision, or he doesn't know correct form, or he can't listen to instruction. Then yeah, you're absolutely setting yourself up or your kid up to get hurt in the gym. But on the other hand, if they're following a supervised program by a qualified individual, they're gonna see increases in lean body mass, increases in strength, increases in feeling and well-being, bone mass. I mean, all these great things. Strength training for children is something I highly recommend, and I do it with my sons and daughters. I'll take them to the gym, honestly, to do little exercises. 1, just because it's a good atmosphere for them, but 2, I have a secret agenda here too. I take my daughters to the gym because there's a lot of huge, hulky guys around there, and I'm kind of starting the dad's watch group for when my girls turn into teenagers, so we'll always have eyes on the street and the muscle to back it up to scare away the boys. So that is all I have for today, my endurance friends. If you have a buddy that wants to get their kid involved in strength training, please share this video with them. If you want other videos like this on endurance training, strength training, nutrition, and supplementation, subscribe to the EndurElite YouTube channel, or head on over to the EndurElite blog at www.endurelite.com. Get social with us on Instagram, in the Facebook Training and Nutrition Club page. And until next time, my endurance friends, stay fueled, stay focused, stay fast, and stay informed.